Well, the Toronto International Boat Show is being held this weekend at the kayaker Center, and one of the keynote speakers is a record-breaking solo kayaker, Mark Fuhrmann, who just completed, get this, an 11,000-kilometer trip starting from Halifax down to the Mississippi and the Gulf of Mexico, and then back, all for charity. And this morning, we're joined by Mark himself for more on this incredible trip. Thank you so much for joining us. This sounds like quite the journey. We just talked a little bit about the map and the route that you took.
Correct.
What was the most challenging part along the way?
Wow. When you paddle 11,000 kilometers, you never know what's around the next corner. And the most challenging probably was crossing a bay called Baie Verte from Nova Scotia to New Brunswick. And it was a calm passage for the first 3 kilometers. And then gale force winds came out of the Bay of Fundy, and it affected me. And I felt like a tennis ball in a washing machine crossing that bay. And to be completely honest, I was extremely thankful that I had my life in my hands as I actually crawled to the shore with dragging the kayak behind me.
Unbelievable. I can imagine the pictures and all the stories that you must have. And I know you're going to be speaking today at the boat show, but I know you did this for a very good cause. It was very personal for you.
Yeah. I lost my wife to cancer when she was 45. I have 3 children. And that was 10 years ago, but still, we experience challenges in our life that leave a void. There's an empty room in the house. And so I raised the money for Doctors Without Borders, both here in Canada and also where I actually live in Norway. And it felt good just to do that.
When you look back on this journey, what stood out to you the most? Was it the peace and tranquility of certain parts? Was it just the mental focus and the challenge? What really stood out to you looking back? I mean,
looking back, you can paddle 1 kilometer and 2 kilometers, and nature is so fantastic. So what is the best part of nature? To be truthful, I'll be truthful. The Trent Severn Waterway from Kingston all the way up to the Georgian Bay was just amazing. But people ask, Mark, what's the best part of nature? And, I've got to be truthful. People. Mm-hmm. People. I was received by hundreds of people. 99.9% of every person I met opened their hearts. They embraced me. I lived on boats. I lived in boat houses. I lived in cabins. I lived on the shores. I lived on the grass plains of these people across Canada, across the United States. Never once a bad experience. People are good.
And speaking of nature, I'm guessing you saw some wildlife along the way. Anyone that stands out in particular?
Oh, yeah. I had 5 dangers. Number 1 is the whole nature, the winds and the waves, and then the bears. I was washing myself in Georgian Bay, and I looked up, and there's a bear swimming towards me. And I got out of the water naked, of course, and I think that scared him enough, as it would scare most people. And he just turned around and swam back. I was crossing Lake Okeechobee in Florida, and that lake has 30,000 alligators in itself.
Oh, great.
Torpedoed, close to torpedoed. It became a cat and mouse for 150 meters, and I had more endurance than him. So I got that, and then 5 kilometers before I came to Halifax, I saw something in the water, a huge black fin.
No.
And it was a great white shark. So I just put my paddle on here, and I just waited silently. And luckily, the bottom of my kayak is white. And white is not on the food chain of alligators or great white sharks. And it just meandered by me. And then I took the next bay into land, and I randomly met a guy called Doug, and within 15 minutes, I'm in with Doug and his wife, Cindy, eating apple pie and ice cream, and that was a good, peaceful experience after the shark.
You have to write a book on this. You know that, right?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We could be a feature film one day.
Yeah.
But we want to remind people that Mark's going to be at the International Boat Show. You're going to be speaking. You're one of the keynote speakers there. I'm sure you have a lot more stories to tell, but that's all the time we have for now. But I'm glad you came in and stopped by to talk about this.
A pleasure to meet with you, Jamie.
Nice to meet you as well.
Super.